Let me ask you a powerful question. Do you know why so many people work hard their entire lives yet still struggle with money? It's not because they don't earn enough. It's because they don't manage what they earn. The truth is, you don't have to start a business or win the lottery to become wealthy. You can become rich on your salary if you develop the right habits, the right mindset, and the right financial discipline. Wealth is not about income, it's about direction. It's about what you do with the money you already make. The good news is that anyone can do it. And today, I'm going to share with you 10 powerful ways to get rich on your salary. Imagine for a moment that every dollar you earn is like a tiny worker that you send out into the world. Some people send all their workers away to pay bills, buy things they don't really need, or cover habits that add no real value to their future. By the end of the month, they have no workers left, nothing left to show for all their effort, and they start the next month right back at zero. But the people who build real wealth do something different. They take a portion of their workers and keep them for themselves, sending them out to build more workers, more opportunities, and eventually financial freedom. This practice is known as paying yourself first, and it is the single most powerful financial habit you can develop if you want to become rich on your salary. Most people make the mistake of thinking that they will save whatever is left at the end of the month. They believe that once they cover expenses, buy what they want, and handle emergencies, then they will have something left to save. The problem with this thinking is that life has a way of filling up every space you leave open. If you wait until the end of the month to save, chances are there will be nothing left. Paying yourself first means you reverse that order. You decide in advance that a certain percentage of your salary belongs to you, not to your landlord, not to your car payment, not to the shops or restaurants, but to you and your future. Then, the moment you receive your salary, you set that amount aside before you do anything else. This habit is simple but life-changing. Imagine if you decided to save just 10% of your income every month automatically, without fail. At first, it may feel uncomfortable because you will have less left over for other things. But over time, something amazing happens. You learn to adjust your spending around the money you have left, and you barely notice the difference. Meanwhile, your savings begins to grow. And as it grows, it starts working for you, earning interest, generating returns, and opening new opportunities that you never thought possible. Think about it like planting a tree. The best time to plant was 10 years ago, but the second best time is today. When you pay yourself first, you are planting financial seeds that will grow into strong trees, trees that can bear fruit for the rest of your life. Too many people never plant because they think they don't earn enough or they need to wait until they make more money. But the truth is that discipline comes before income. If you can save on a small salary, you will save even more when you earn more. If you can't save on a small salary, no matter how much you earn, the habit won't suddenly appear. Some people argue that they have too many expenses, too many obligations, and they can't possibly set money aside. But think about this. If your employer reduced your salary by 10% tomorrow, you would adjust. It might be uncomfortable, but you would find a way. Paying yourself first is the same thing, except this time you are the one who benefits. You are not losing that money. You are moving it to a safe place where it will grow for your future. That simple shift in perspective is the foundation of wealth. Now let's turn to the second way to build wealth on your salary, which is creating a clear budget and sticking to it. Once you've decided to pay yourself first, the next challenge is learning how to live well on what remains. And this is where many people struggle, because without a plan, money has a way of slipping through your fingers without you even noticing. A budget is not a punishment, it is a blueprint for your financial success. It gives you control, clarity, and confidence. Instead of wondering where your money went at the end of the month, you tell it exactly where to go from the very beginning. The truth is, every dollar you earn already has a job, whether you assign it one or not. Without a budget, those dollars end up working for other people. With a budget, you put those dollars to work for you. Start by tracking your spending for a full month. Don't change anything at first, just observe. You may be shocked at how much slips away in small, unconscious purchases like daily coffees, snacks, or online shopping. These amounts may seem small, but over time they add up to thousands of dollars every year. And the surprising thing is, most of these expenses don't bring lasting happiness. By becoming aware of them, you can decide what really matters to you and cut back on what doesn't. A budget allows you to align your money with your priorities. If your priority is building wealth, you set aside money for savings and investment first. If your priority is paying off debt, you allocate extra toward clearing it. If your priority is growth, you assign money toward learning courses or skill development. Suddenly, your money is no longer controlling you. You are controlling it. And that feeling of control is powerful because it replaces stress with certainty. Some people resist the idea of budgeting because they think it means living a life of restriction or never enjoying anything. But the opposite is true. A budget gives you permission to enjoy your money without guilt. When you plan for entertainment, travel, or even luxury, you can spend freely knowing it fits into your bigger plan. Instead of feeling anxious every time you swipe your card, you feel secure because you know it was already accounted for. This freedom is what most people miss when they live without a budget. Imagine a ship at sea without a map or compass. It might drift for years and never reach its destination. That's how most people live financially. They earn, they spend, and they drift. But a budget is like your map. It tells you exactly where you are, where you're going, and how long it will take to get there. Every month you stick to your budget is another step closer to your financial destination. Here's a simple approach you can use. After paying yourself first, divide your remaining income into categories. Essentials like housing, utilities, food, and transportation. Debt repayment if you have it. Savings for upcoming expenses like annual bills or emergencies. And finally, discretionary spending for enjoyment. Assign every dollar to a category and adjust as you go until it feels balanced. Over time, you'll refine your system and gain confidence in managing money, just like a skilled captain navigating the seas. When you combine paying yourself first with creating and following a clear budget, something powerful happens. You begin to see money as a tool, not a mystery. You stop reacting to financial stress and start proactively building your future. At first, these habits require effort and discipline, but soon they become second nature. And as your savings grow and your spending aligns with your goals, you feel a sense of freedom that few people ever experience. You realize that wealth is not about luck, inheritance, or sudden windfalls. It is about daily discipline, small choices repeated over time, and a clear vision of where you want to go. One of the greatest barriers standing between people and financial freedom is debt, especially high-interest debt. It is the silent killer of wealth, the chain that keeps so many hardworking individuals trapped in the same cycle month after month. You can be disciplined, intelligent, and dedicated at your job, but if a large portion of your income is going toward credit card balances, personal loans, or payday advances, then you are working to make someone else rich instead of yourself. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar you could have used to build your future. The longer you allow high-interest debt to stay in your life, the more power it has over you. The solution is to eliminate it quickly, with absolute focus and determination, because nothing drains wealth faster than money you owe that grows larger with time. Many people underestimate just how damaging high-interest debt can be. At first, the monthly payment seems manageable. You might think it is just $50 or $100, no big deal. But what most people forget is that this is not just a one-time payment. It is money you will be handing over every single month, sometimes for years, while the interest quietly compounds. That means you are paying far more than you borrowed, sometimes double or triple the original amount. Imagine what could happen if that same money was working for you in savings or investments instead of being handed to a bank. The difference over a decade is staggering. This is why wealthy people do everything in their power to avoid high-interest debt, and why anyone serious about building wealth must make eliminating it a top priority. The strategy to break free begins with awareness. Make a list of every debt you owe, the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Most people never do this because they are afraid of what they will see, but clarity is the first step to control. Once you see the numbers clearly, choose a strategy to attack them. Some people use the avalanche method, focusing on the highest interest debt first to save the most money in the long run. Others use the snowball method, paying off the smallest balance first to build momentum and confidence. The method is less important than the commitment. What matters is that you create a plan, stick to it, and throw every spare dollar you can at eliminating those debts. Think of it as freeing yourself from financial quicksand. Every time you reduce a debt, you gain more breathing room. Each balance cleared is a victory that releases energy back into your life. And as you remove these chains, you also train yourself in discipline. patience, and long-term thinking. Once you have eliminated high-interest debt, you will feel a weight lifted, and your income will finally begin to belong to you. That money can now go toward building, not repairing. The sense of relief and empowerment you gain from living debt-free cannot be overstated, and it becomes a strong foundation for every other financial decision you will make. Now let's turn to another powerful way to get rich on your salary, which is to increase your value at work and confidently ask for raises. For most people, their salary is their primary source of income. If you want to build wealth faster, you cannot only focus on cutting costs or eliminating debt. You must also look at ways to increase the amount of money flowing into your life. The truth is, your income is a direct reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace. If you want to earn more, you must become more valuable. You must make yourself so skilled, so capable, and so reliable that your employer sees you as an asset they cannot afford to lose. This requires a shift in mindset. Too many people think of their job as something they endure just to collect a paycheck. But if you see your job as a platform for growth, as an opportunity to develop skills that increase your worth, everything changes. Every task becomes a chance to learn. Every challenge becomes a chance to prove yourself. Every project becomes an opportunity to demonstrate that you can handle more responsibility. By consistently doing more than what is expected, by being proactive instead of reactive, by becoming the person who solves problems instead of creating them, you separate yourself from the average. And in any organization, the people who separate themselves from the average are the ones who rise the fastest. Invest in yourself relentlessly. Read books on your industry, take courses, learn new technologies, practice communication and leadership. The more you grow your skills, the more valuable you become. And here is the key: do not wait for someone else to recognize your value. Once you have built it, once you can demonstrate how your work contributes to the success of your company, ask for more. Too many people are afraid to ask for a raise because they fear rejection. But remember this: if you do not ask, the answer is always no. Employers expect ambitious people to seek advancement. When you come prepared with evidence of the value you bring, you are not asking for charity. You are requesting fair recognition of your contribution. Sometimes the answer will be no, and that is fine. If your current workplace does not reward your growth, take your skills elsewhere. The marketplace always pays top dollar for top performers. If you have increased your value, if you have proven your ability, there will always be opportunities. And every raise you secure, every jump in income you make, accelerates your journey to wealth. Even a modest increase, when combined with the discipline of saving and investing, compounds into something extraordinary over time. Think of this as climbing two ladders at once. On one side, you are climbing the ladder of financial discipline, saving, budgeting, and eliminating debt. On the other side, you are climbing the ladder of income growth, building your skills, your value, and your earning power. When you climb both ladders together, the speed at which you reach financial independence multiplies. Too many people focus on only one ladder, either saving but never earning more or chasing raises while still living paycheck to paycheck. The real secret is combining both, and that requires a commitment to lifelong learning and personal growth. By eliminating high-interest debt, you stop money from leaking out of your life. By increasing your value and asking for raises, you increase the flow of money coming in. Together, these two practices form a powerful balance. One closes the holes in your financial bucket, the other fills it faster. And as the bucket grows fuller, you gain options, freedom, and control. You begin to see that wealth is not built in a single step, but through consistent actions that compound over time. One of the most important truths about money is that it is not about how much you make, but about how much you keep and how wisely you use it. Far too many people fall into the trap of chasing a lifestyle that matches or even exceeds their income. They earn a raise, and instead of saving or investing it, they immediately upgrade their car, move into a bigger house, or increase their spending on luxuries. On the surface, it feels like progress, but in reality, it is a cycle that keeps them stuck. This is why living below your means is such a powerful principle. It is not about deprivation or denying yourself enjoyment. It is about discipline and prioritizing your future over temporary satisfaction. Think about the people you admire who have built real wealth. Many of them started with modest salaries, yet they found ways to save and invest consistently because they resisted the temptation to overspend. Living below your means gives you breathing room. It creates a gap between what you earn and what you spend, and that gap is the space where wealth grows. If you spend everything you make, you are stuck on the treadmill, running hard but never moving forward. But if you spend less than you make, you have the power to direct the difference into investments, savings, or opportunities that expand your future. It often comes down to choices. You might have the option to buy a brand new car on credit, but you choose a reliable used car and avoid monthly payments. You might be tempted to move into a place that stretches your budget, but you choose a smaller home that gives you more flexibility. You might be surrounded by people constantly upgrading their lifestyle, but you choose to delay gratification and keep your expenses steady even as your income rises. These choices may not impress others in the short term, but they build a foundation that allows you to impress yourself in the long term. Living below your means is also about perspective. Too often, people confuse wants with needs. They convince themselves that a bigger television, the latest phone, or dining out every week is essential. But when you step back and ask yourself whether these things truly add lasting happiness or long-term value, you realize that most of them don't. True security, peace of mind, and freedom come not from material possessions, but from knowing you are financially stable and prepared for the future. When you live below your means, you buy yourself peace of mind. You no longer worry about every unexpected bill because you know you have a cushion. You no longer feel trapped in your job because you are not dependent on every paycheck to survive. You gain flexibility, options, and control, which are far more valuable than any short-lived luxury. Another benefit of living below your means is that it creates resilience. Life is unpredictable. Jobs can change, economies can slow down, emergencies can arise without warning. If you live at the edge of your income, these events can push you into financial chaos. But if you consistently spend less than you earn, you build a safety net. That safety net gives you the strength to handle life's surprises without fear. It is like having armor against uncertainty, and it allows you to face challenges with confidence instead of panic. Now, once you have committed to living below your means, the natural next step is to make saving and investing automatic. This is a practice that separates those who hope for wealth from those who actually achieve it. The problem with relying on willpower alone is that it is inconsistent. Some months you feel motivated, other months you make excuses, and before you know it, the habit of saving fades away. But when you make it automatic, when you arrange your finances so that saving and investing happen without you having to think about it, you guarantee that your future is always being taken care of. Imagine if every time you received your salary, a fixed percentage was automatically transferred into a savings or investment account before you even saw it in your spending account. Over time, this habit builds wealth almost invisibly. You adapt to living on what remains just as you have always adapted to your income level. At first, you may notice the difference, but within a few months, it becomes normal. Meanwhile, your savings continues to grow month after month, year after year, like a silent partner working for you in the background. The beauty of automation is that it removes emotion from the process. Too many people save only when they feel like it or when they happen to have extra money. But emotions are unreliable. If you are stressed or tempted, you may convince yourself that saving can wait until next month. Automation makes it non-negotiable. It turns saving from a choice into a certainty. This is how ordinary people with ordinary salaries manage to accumulate extraordinary wealth. They remove the temptation, the hesitation, and the inconsistency by setting up systems that work on their behalf. The earlier you start, the more powerful this becomes. Thanks to the power of compounding, even small amounts saved and invested regularly can grow into something remarkable over time. A few $100s invested each month can turn into hundreds of thousands, even millions if given enough years. The key is consistency. Automation ensures that consistency. It takes advantage of time, which is the most valuable ally you have in wealth building. Every day you delay is a day you lose, but every day you commit to automatic saving and investing is a day that your money begins working for you. This is also about shifting identity. When you automatically save and invest, you begin to see yourself not just as someone who works for money, but as someone who builds wealth. You start to view every paycheck differently because you know that part of it is going toward your freedom, not just your bills. It changes the way you think, the way you act, and the way you plan for the future. And as your investments grow, you gain confidence, seeing tangible proof that your discipline is paying off. The combination of living below your means and saving and investing automatically creates a powerful engine for wealth. One creates the fuel, The other ensures it is directed into the right vehicle. Together, they put you on a path where money is no longer something that controls you, but something you control with precision. Instead of being a slave to your expenses, you become the architect of your financial destiny. Money is a subject most people handle with very little knowledge, and that lack of knowledge costs them far more than they realize. Think about how many years people spend in school learning mathematics, science, or literature, yet very few are ever taught the basic principles of money. They enter adulthood knowing how to earn a paycheck, but not how to manage it, grow it, or protect it. This is why one of the most powerful ways to get rich on your salary is to commit to continuously learning about money and wealth. The truth is that financial education is not a one-time event, it is a lifelong process. The more you learn, the smarter your decisions become, and the smarter your decisions, the faster your wealth grows. Knowledge about money is like a light in the dark. Without it, you stumble around, making mistakes, falling into traps, and repeating the same habits that keep you stuck. With it, you begin to see clearly. You understand why certain people thrive while others struggle. You recognize opportunities that most people overlook. You avoid the pitfalls that swallow the majority. The difference between those who remain trapped in financial stress and those who rise to financial independence often comes down to what they know and how they apply it. Learning about money does not mean you need a degree in finance or economics. It means studying the basics of how money flows, how investing works, how debt affects your life, and how wealth is built over time. It means reading books by successful investors, listening to podcasts, watching lectures, taking courses, and surrounding yourself with ideas that sharpen your understanding. Even 30 minutes a day spent learning about money can transform your financial life over a few years. You gain an edge because while most people remain ignorant and reactive, you become informed and proactive. Another key benefit of financial education is that it builds confidence. Many people avoid dealing with their finances because they feel overwhelmed or intimidated. They think investing is too complicated or that money management is only for experts. But once you start learning, you realize that the principles are simple. You don't need to master every detail. You only need to understand the fundamentals. When you know how compound interest works, when you understand the difference between good debt and bad debt, when you can read a simple financial statement, you are already ahead of the majority. Confidence grows from clarity, and clarity comes from learning. There is also the matter of adapting to change. The financial world is not static. New technologies emerge, markets shift, economies rise and fall, and opportunities appear and disappear. If you stop learning, you fall behind. If you keep learning, you stay ahead. For example, those who learned early about the power of investing in index funds, real estate, or even new industries like technology were able to grow their wealth much faster than those who ignored them. The ones who paid attention to financial trends and educated themselves were prepared, while others were left wondering what happened. Lifelong learning ensures you are ready to adapt, to seize opportunities, and to protect yourself from risks that others may not even see. This habit of continuous financial education is like sharpening your tools before you build. The sharper the tools, the more efficient your work, the stronger your results. And the more you learn, the more you begin to realize that wealth is not about luck or chance. It is about patterns, principles, and habits. Once you understand them, you can apply them in your own life and achieve results that once seemed impossible. Now let's look at another powerful way to get rich on your salary, which is to build multiple streams of income. For most people, their salary is their only source of money. They rely completely on that paycheck to cover all expenses and plan for the future. But this creates vulnerability. If something happens to that one source, such as losing a job, facing a pay cut, or even just a slowdown in opportunities, their entire financial life is thrown into crisis. Wealthy people think differently. They understand that true financial security comes not from a single stream of income, but from many. Think of income streams like legs of a table. A table with only one leg is unstable. It can collapse at any moment. A table with 4 or 5 legs, however, is strong and secure. In the same way, when you build multiple income streams, you reduce your dependence on any single one. Your salary can be the main pillar, but alongside it you can create side businesses, investments, royalties, freelance work, or other sources that generate money. Over time, these additional streams not only provide security, but also accelerate your path to wealth. The great news is that in today's world, creating multiple streams of income is more possible than ever. The internet has opened endless opportunities. You can turn skills into freelance services, create content that earns advertising or sponsorship revenue, build online businesses, or invest in digital products. Traditional paths are also available, such as investing in real estate, dividend-paying stocks, or small businesses. Each stream may start small, but when nurtured consistently, they grow. Even an extra few $100s a month, if saved and invested, can compound into significant wealth over time. One of the most powerful forms of income streams is passive income, money that flows to you with little ongoing effort once it is established. Examples include rental income, dividends, royalties from creative work, or profits from automated businesses. Passive income frees you from trading hours for dollars. It allows your money, your ideas, and your assets to work for you while you sleep. Building passive income streams takes time, effort, and sometimes upfront investment, but the rewards are enormous. Every dollar of passive income is a soldier fighting on your side, adding to your freedom and reducing your dependence on your salary. Creating multiple streams of income also transforms the way you think about work. Instead of seeing your salary as the only lifeline, you begin to view it as one piece of a larger puzzle. Your job becomes a platform to fund other ventures, a foundation to build upon rather than a cage that traps you. This shift is empowering because it breaks the sense of limitation that so many people feel. You no longer see yourself as tied to one paycheck or one employer. You begin to see yourself as someone who creates wealth from many directions. It is important to remember that building multiple streams of income does not happen overnight. It is a gradual process, just like building savings or learning about money. Start small, experiment, and grow. Choose opportunities that align with your skills and interests so the effort feels natural and sustainable. Over time, those small streams can grow into rivers that carry you toward financial independence. By continuously learning about money, you strengthen your ability to make wise financial choices. By building multiple streams of income, you multiply your financial power and resilience. Together, these habits give you both knowledge and security. One ensures you are always improving, adapting, and expanding your understanding. The other ensures that no single setback can derail your progress. With these two strategies working side by side, your journey to wealth becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The people you spend your time with shape your mindset more than you might realize. Human beings naturally absorb the attitudes, habits, and beliefs of those around them. If you spend most of your time with people who complain about money, who live paycheck to paycheck without a plan, or who believe that wealth is only for the lucky few, you will unconsciously adopt those same limitations. But if you surround yourself with financially smart people, people who think about opportunities, who talk about investments, who plan for the long term, then their habits and mindset begin to rub off on you. This is why choosing your circle carefully is one of the most underrated ways to build wealth on your salary. Think of it like this. If you wanted to get physically fit, would you spend most of your time with people who avoid exercise, eat junk food, and complain about their health? Probably not. You would want to be around people who take fitness seriously, who encourage you, who share knowledge, and who push you to grow. Money works the same way. Your financial fitness depends heavily on the environment you place yourself in. By surrounding yourself with financially smart people, you gain access to their insights, their habits, and their encouragement. These people don't necessarily need to be millionaires or financial experts. They simply need to have a healthy, disciplined, and forward-thinking approach to money. It could be a colleague who invests consistently, a friend who runs a small side business, or a mentor who shares wisdom about building wealth. When you spend time with people like this, your conversations change. Instead of talking endlessly about consumption, you talk about creation. Instead of focusing on what you can buy next, you focus on what you can build next. Those subtle shifts in perspective accumulate into powerful transformations. It is also important to understand the influence of negativity. People who have poor financial habits often try to pull others into the same cycle, sometimes without even realizing it. If you tell them you are saving, they may mock you for being too serious. If you skip an unnecessary expense, they may pressure you to spend just to fit in. If you dream of financial independence, they may tell you it is impossible. These voices, repeated over time, can weaken your resolve. By surrounding yourself with financially smart people, you protect yourself from that negativity and replace it with encouragement. Instead of being laughed at for your discipline, you are respected for it. Instead of being told your goals are unrealistic, you are reminded that they are achievable. This environment does more than protect you, it inspires you. Seeing others succeed financially makes the goal feel real. Hearing how they manage money gives you practical strategies. Watching them overcome challenges reminds you that you can too. Their presence keeps you accountable, pushing you to raise your standards. And perhaps most importantly, they normalize wealth building. What once seemed unusual or difficult becomes part of everyday life. Saving, investing, planning, and learning no longer feel like a struggle. They feel like the natural way to live. Now, once you are surrounded by the right influences, you must also give yourself clear direction. This is where setting big financial goals and reviewing them regularly comes into play. Without goals, money slips through your fingers with no real purpose. You may save a little here, invest a little there, but without clarity, your progress is scattered and slow. Goals are what give money meaning. They tell you why you are saving, why you are investing, and why you are practicing discipline. They give you motivation in the short term and vision in the long term. When setting financial goals, do not be afraid to think big. Too many people set goals that are small and safe, and as a result, their actions remain small and safe. Big goals stretch you. They excite you. They pull you forward. For example, instead of saying you want to save a few $1,000s, aim to become financially independent. Instead of saying you want to pay off a single debt, aim to live completely debt-free and build a strong investment portfolio. The size of your goals determines the size of your actions. Big goals demand better habits, greater focus, and stronger discipline, all of which accelerate your journey to wealth. But it is not enough to simply set these goals once and forget about them. They must be reviewed regularly, written down, and kept in front of you. Life has a way of distracting you, pulling your attention to urgent but unimportant things. If you do not remind yourself of your financial goals, they slowly fade from your mind and are replaced by day-to-day concerns. By reviewing your goals weekly or monthly, you keep them alive. You measure your progress, celebrate small wins, and adjust your strategies when necessary. This constant review keeps your goals active in your subconscious mind, influencing your daily choices without you even realizing it. Imagine two people with the same salary. One has no clear goals, the other has a specific plan to save, invest, and achieve financial independence within 20 years. Even if they both face the same obstacles, the second person will always be ahead because their decisions are guided by their goals. When tempted to spend, they remember their bigger vision. When discouraged by setbacks, they remind themselves of the destination. This clarity creates resilience and determination, which are far more powerful than mere wishful thinking. Setting goals also creates alignment. It ensures that your daily actions match your long-term vision. If your goal is to build wealth, then every financial choice becomes a question of whether it brings you closer or further from that outcome. This alignment removes confusion and prevents you from wasting energy on things that do not matter. It allows you to act with purpose and confidence, knowing that every small step is contributing to something much greater. The act of setting and reviewing big goals also shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself not as someone who is simply surviving from paycheck to paycheck, but as someone who is actively designing their financial future. That shift in identity fuels persistence. Even when progress feels slow, you keep moving because you know the destination is worth it. Over time, this persistence creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. By surrounding yourself with financially smart people, you elevate your environment. By setting big financial goals and reviewing them regularly, you give yourself a clear destination. One gives you inspiration, the other gives you direction. Together, they create a powerful force that keeps you on track, motivated, and focused. They ensure that wealth is not just an idea you hope for, but a reality you steadily move toward. We have walked through 10 powerful ways that anyone, regardless of their background or current salary, can use to build real wealth. Each idea may seem simple on its own, but when combined, they create a complete system that can transform your financial life. Paying yourself first gives you ownership of your future. Creating and following a budget ensures that every dollar has a purpose. Eliminating high-interest debt frees you from chains that drain your progress. Increasing your value at work and asking for raises expands the flow of money into your life. Living below your means creates the gap where wealth grows, and saving and investing automatically makes that growth consistent. Learning about money sharpens your decision-making and keeps you ahead. While building multiple streams of income multiplies your security and opportunities, surrounding yourself with financially smart people elevates your mindset, and setting big goals with regular reviews keeps you focused on the destination. When you commit to these principles, you shift from being someone who struggles with money to someone who commands it. Wealth stops being something distant or reserved for others and becomes something you actively create in your own life. It is not about luck. It is not about sudden windfalls. It is about discipline, learning, and consistent action over time. Every small step you take, every habit you strengthen, every decision you make builds upon the last until the life you once only imagined becomes the life you are living. Thank you for giving your time and energy to this message. Your willingness to learn, to reflect, and to take action is what will set you apart from the majority. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep reminding yourself that you have the power to design your financial future. I appreciate you for being here, and I wish you nothing but success on your journey ahead.